Everyone, thanks so much for joining our live Crypto.com AMA today. My name is Imana Balia, and today I'll be speaking with Raullen Cheng and Jing Sun, the co-founders of IoTeX. IoTeX combines secure blockchain tech with the Internet of Things. It's a decentralized blockchain which integrates securely with all other objects with the guaranteed privacy, security, and trust. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Raullen and Jing. Hi, Jing. Hi, Raullen. It's nice to have you guys
Hi,
today.
everyone. Very
Hey
nice to
guys.
meet you.
Thanks for
Hi,
joining
Iman.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Could you guys start off by giving us an introduction of yourselves, please?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Raullen. So I'm the CEO co-founder of IoTeX. My background is techie, so I got into the crypto and the Bitcoin really early when I was doing my PhD in Waterloo, focused on cryptography back in 2008, 2009. And then after graduation, I just joined Google, stayed there for almost 5 years, leading the infra team and security team, doing lots of things around security, privacy, and cloud computing. So one of the product actually my team did for Google Cloud still earns Google like $10 million every year, has been very successful. Then after that, I joined Uber, leading the cryptography team for 1 year. Basically, every time you bring up your Uber app, you hauling for a car, that's my team, and my products actually like a protects your privacy behind the scene. And after that, I joined Jing and Kevin, the other two co-founders. Basically, we started Iotax down from scratch. That's in 2017. Almost 4 years, how time flies. So glad to be here. Glad to share our stories with Crypto.com community.
Cool. And you, Jing?
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. My name is Jing. I'm one of the founding member and the co-founder of Iotax Network. My background, actually, I'm from the venture capital background, right? I'm a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley for the past 8 to 9 years, investing in all the frontier tech companies like VR, AR, AI, autonomous car, IoT. And actually, we start to look at the blockchain space back in 2015 when we see, Ethereum is coming and, no more only Bitcoin, but actually it's a more kind of programmable platform, which have so many possibilities. And back in 2017, I met with, co-founders, Kevin, Lauren, and other founding members, and we start to brainstorm the idea. At that time, we see there's no infrastructure really powered, the Internet of Things and the machine economy in a decentralized way. So we decided to form the team and, build it. And right now we have the infrastructure ready and all focused on the ecosystem building. Very excited to share more with all your crypto.com, community members.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and it's exciting to have you both. So we'll start off with, where does the name IoTeX come from, and what motivated you to start this project?
Yeah, I think this comes down to the vision of IoTeX. So basically, as you know, the number of devices are actually growing year by year, day by day. We are actually surrounded by many, many devices. So look at around yourself. There are perhaps like 10, 20 devices around you. So this will become even, 30, 100 devices around you next year or next decade or so. However, all the devices, they are actually managed by the centralized cloud platforms or maybe companies, right? So that's a huge problem. That's why we're doing IoTeX. So we are building this decentralized backbone to drive the machines, to drive the devices in a very decentralized way, give them some sort of way to program the economy for those machines, no matter they are autonomous vehicles, cameras, devices, like a very dummy devices, smart home devices or so. So that's why we call it IOTX, extension of IoT, exchange of IoT value, and next generation of IoT.
Cool. And for those who are joining us today who maybe haven't heard of IoT or the Internet of Things, could you break it down simply just so that they could kind of put together what it means to have all these devices be connected to a network?
Jing,
Sure.
you want to go for this one?
Sure. Yes. Actually, for those in the first, maybe know Iotax. Actually, just like Iotax is a blockchain ecosystem. So it breaks down into, different layers. The underlying layer is Iotax is a blockchain. And we have one of the most high-performant EVM-compatible layer 1 public chain, which we created from scratch, right? And also we make it interoperable with the entire crypto industry. We have all the cross-chain infrastructure with EVM chains like Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, and more, right? But actually just Iotax is more than that. We build this, platform actually to empower billions of the devices and machines. Specifically, we say machine-fi, the machine economy, right? Yeah. So on top of the Iotax, blockchain, which make Iotax very unique, we have a lot of the components to enable all the devices and machines they can connect to the blockchain in a decentralized way. At the same time, they can financialize all the utilities, values, resources generated by the machines. So that just you will see, it's not only a blockchain as itself, it also have a lot of tools, dev tools, a lot of layer 2 components, and a lot of the other protocols. We work them together and make it an end-to-end platform to enable all the machine economy on top of the blockchain, right? Cool. So yeah, so that's actually just like, how, make Iotax, a different, layer 1 blockchain. But I want to just emphasize, actually just like, it's more than only doing the machine. People can do, already we see a lot of projects that are doing the DeFi, doing the NFT, all those things are possible because we are, layer 1 level, we are, as all the other high performance chain, we have very low fee, very fast, and very performant, secure, decentralized blockchain platform.
Okay, very interesting. And what makes IOTeX platform? So I guess you explained what makes it unique. Then, so what about having an experienced team is the most vital thing in a company's growth? Could you tell us a little bit about how your team's experience will help this project succeed?
Oh, that's a great question. I think we have all sorts of experts actually we need to make it successful, right? So I'll start with on the tech side, and Jing can talk about on the marketing and the community side. So from tech side, basically my background is very strong in cryptography. Some of my PhD work has been actually standardized by NIST here in the USA. So another guy who has been working with me, his name is Xinxin Fan. He's also like a very deep in IoT and the cryptography. He was actually leading like the IoT security sector in Bosch before joining Iotax. So he's like a true expert in IoT and decentralized ledger. And besides from this, so we have another co-founder. His name is Kevin. He's not here today. So he's a very early employee from Facebook. Actually, worked with Mark Zuckerberg, very early days. His spatial power is like a product development. So if you see like all the beautiful and useful products actually building on top of Iotax, like the wallet, the Explorer, the staking portal, the machine portal, so on and so forth, that's actually from he and his team, right? So in addition to those, we have some very senior like the engineers and research and scientists from Google, Facebook, and Uber. So all like a top-notch like a talents actually we have here on the team on the tech side.
Cool.
Yeah. In addition to that, you want to talk about? Yeah, on the marketing side, community side, we have some true genius joining recently.
Yeah, definitely. We started with the first class tech team, but actually just like the entire team is growing so fast. And actually just like there are two parts, right? One part is the core team. We also have a big and growing kind of community marketing operational team, right? So a lot of them, they already been in crypto for many years, and some of them, they actually bring the experience from the outside world, very experienced in doing the branding, doing the marketing, right? Traditional or crypto natively. But more excited is recently, actually, just like, this year, we mark the first year for the Iotax ecosystem, right? So we see there are hundreds of the developers, they are joining Iotax ecosystem, which means they are not really kind of the core team members, but they all kind of very innovative, creative, right? So they are building various DApp applications, machine-fi application, DeFi, NFT applications on top of Iotax. We see them as part of our, kind of the community.
Extended team.
Yeah. The extended team. And also we are extended our ambassador, team. So previously, actually, just like we already spent, kind of many years, right, to building up our ambassador. We already have kind of dozens of the ambassador across the world. But recently, we kind of, just launched our Ambassador 2.0 program, and very happily we received hundreds of applications, and probably all those ambassadors, they will join Iotax and serve the local community, and we are very excited about that. With those type of the growth of the team, right, extended ecosystem and community, we believe it really will help the adoption and the communication branding of the Iotax.
Cool. That's very exciting. Another very exciting part of IoTeX is, of course, two of your really interesting devices. So one is the UCam security camera, and the other is the Pebble tracker. Could you tell us a little bit about these devices and what the devices or what devices will follow after Pebble and UCam?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So UCam is actually like a hardware product. We work with a partner actually very closely in 2019, and which has been launched in the late 2019. That is, gets sold on Amazon.com right now. So 8,000 or even more, I think nearly 9,000 cameras has been deployed to United States families here, and people love it. If you look at the reviews on Amazon.com, people just absolutely love it, right? So the UCam is actually like a smart home camera that's around this concept, like your key, your video, same as your key, your Bitcoin, right? So you own the key, so you own all the data that's produced by the camera. So not the camera company, not the cloud company, not us, right? It's actually by you. So that is like a first in the human history. This concept has been like implemented in a smart home camera. So that's a very exciting product. So still there are lots of inquiries from manufacturers saying, oh, I want to do the camera with Iotax altogether, outdoor camera like a car, the car camera, GoPro type of camera, right? So all sorts of camera companies is coming to us. We have limited bandwidth, but definitely we are very happy to work with those manufacturers. So that's one. Yeah. So Pebble is different, right? So Pebble is not a consumer product; it's more developer oriented. So we really want to prove to the world, like the concept, like you have this trusted and open hardware. You can do this hardware with some sort of open, maybe public utility, and you can utilize or maybe monetize this utility in the crypto world. So Pebble is such a device. It's a GPS tracker with a bunch of sensors. So you can carry it, just walk it anywhere. You can do this proof of presence, right? So if you are drive, you can do this proof of driving. If you walk, you can do this proof of walk. Then all the collected data points, so they are actually signed by this trusted hardware, and going through our layer 2 components, TrueStream, and coming to the DF that sits on top of like a layer 1 blockchain. So by having this structure, you can do some very innovative DApps. For example, I think Jing's favorite example is like a walk to earn, drive to earn, sometimes even live to earn, right? So there are all sorts of interesting use cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but definitely, that's just a start, right? That's just a start. So we plan to work with even more open hardwares in the coming year. For example, we're talking with our Arduino community. So they have a bunch of hardware hackers and devices. We want to have them to bring their devices actually to Iotax as well as their community. Raspberry Pi is another company actually we're talking with, right? So they have a huge distribution of devices as well as users. All those machines that's kind of scattered out in the world here and there, so they can be organized by Iotax in a way to utilize their their data utility in a certain fashion in the crypto world.
Cool. Okay, so for UCam, could you explain, maybe not too technically, but could you explain the difference between UCam and then any other, camera that's on the market that's similar to it? So with the similar cameras, it's that, anything that's filmed is really, that data is owned by that company. And so therefore your data is not secure. Any of the images or videos that are kept are owned by them and not by you. So with IoTeX, the idea is that any user who purchases this camera completely owns all the data, all the footage, all of that. But how is that done? Is it that on the cloud level, it's in an encrypted cloud, or how is it that IoTeX or no one else has access to that data but the customer?
Yeah, maybe I can.
Yeah, Jing, I think you can do a much better job to explain this in a non-techy way. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to just from a very non-technical way to explain. Yeah. So basically, all the functionality will be similar, like, your normal kind of security camera. But the very difference is, just like for out of blockchain, this blockchain powered, camera, because, all the device identity are not registered in the centralized cloud. Actually, it's kind of just like, registered on the blockchain, right? So that just like, how to manage account is totally different from the traditional way. Which means just like, for the users easily, they can log in with your wallet private key. It's just like you kind of access to your crypto asset, right? So that just because, all the identity and all the account is actually with, users themselves. They actually is the one to manage, their account. So that, if even just there's a break in or the hacker, but there's nothing to hack in because there's no centralized, account or key management systems hacking too. If there's even just like there's a cases, and then it's kind of camera by camera. They cannot kind of break into massively kind of millions of the devices, like in all those, hacking news you heard from the, from the news, right? Another, big thing is actually, yes, it's encrypted. It's end-to-end encrypted. Even just like, they break into your camera, but because all the files, the videos are encrypted, so that they get only encrypted files, cannot really access to your video file. And the best thing is because, the ownership part, right? So who own your devices and the video files? Actually, it's you, right? It's owners. So that just you can do whatever you want. For example, say, hey, if you want to share your nice video, for example, your video, you capture really fun videos, for your pets, right? Actually, you can share with some of the DApp. Maybe there's those pet DApps, and then just like you can list there, or even just monetize your video. It's really just up to you. Of course, you want to kind of keep it 100% private, but the key point is the first time it's 100% owned by the users.
Understood. Okay. Yeah. And in terms of Pebble, so of course, I think you guys were referring to just the play to X model that's now growing, and I guess that all has been fueled by the play to earn model. And Jing, I've been seeing on Twitter just a lot more mentions of play to exercise or exercise to earn, and so it'll be interesting to see the X to earn model kind of take off and watch as IoTeX becomes a bigger part of it. So given the amount of IoT devices out there in the world and the lack of security and privacy, how hard would it be to retrofit various devices to make use of IoTeX?
Yeah, I think this comes down to our secret source, right? So we haven't announced this one officially yet, but I can disclose, some like very high level principle how it works. So basically, we want to make the device side as lightweight as possible. Like they don't have to change like a dramatically inside, right? But they can do like a very simple, like some SDK we have, so they can install on the machine. So the machine will do some sort of like talking with the layer 2 component we're building. It's called TrueStream. So TrueStream is more like an off-chain computing engine that can talk with machines, understand what machine wants to do, right? So like this TrueStream, so they will interpret what the machine trying to say to the Solidity language, like the blockchain DApp can understand. For example, machine says, oh, I got this data from this place at this time, then this sort of information can be translated into something that's understandable by the DApps. So DApp can reward you with some sort of token, right? So that's one example. Another example is, for example, you have an autonomous vehicle, it just do some work for you during the night, during your sleep. So this Tesla or maybe autonomous vehicle, so they can just prove to the TrueStream, oh, I have done this work, right? Carrying a passenger from A to B and earning this much of money. So this can also be digested by TrueStream and giving this information to the DApp. So DApp side, you can do the token economic side very flexible. So that's how like the principle how IoTeX connects the machine to the DApps.
To the DApps, very cool. And what problems did you, as IoTeX, run into when you were trying to roll out products and activate the business? Was it difficult to explain to non-crypto users about IoTeX, and what are the benefits of using it?
Sure, definitely, right. So actually, I think this is a problem for the entire crypto industry when you go rolling out to the non-crypto audience, there is a kind of a gap, right? So that just like we put a lot of the resources to educate people. But we find out actually the best way to educate people is to put some product tangible into people's hands, right? Just like when we explain all the tech stack, it's very kind of abstract, very hard to understand. But I think the first time, I think this is aha moment. We went to CES, which is the largest consumer in product show back in 2020. We went to CES and we won the CES innovation award, and then we put this kind of camera in front of the people. Those are all non-technical, non-crypto people. The first time they say, hey, this is a blockchain powered consumer product, and they heard about crypto, they heard about Bitcoin here and there, but they never get a chance to really feel why this is relevant to their real life, why this matters to their real life, until they see the camera. I think this is a aha moment to say, okay, so the best way for the adoption, for the education, is you build a really kind of seamless, user experience product, so that people can use and people can benefit from, from those technology for their daily life. And they didn't even just realize actually they are kind of just like using the products which are working on, very hardcore kind of, blockchain technology.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I think a big part of everybody's challenge now is that there is no need to explain what the blockchain is, and there's no reason for people to even understand how it works, because most people that use the internet don't know how it works, but they still use it. And so, like you said, maybe the best solution is just to have working products out there and just let them use it. Then there's no need to explain.
Yeah, I think this is one part. And the second part is about the developer, right? So for the developer, maybe they are more tech savvy, right? So it's easier to just like explain all the technical detail. But how to convince them, work on Iotax is still, it's kind of just like a challenge, right? And for us, actually, just like, the reason why we make us, EVM compatible and Web3 compatible is because, you clearly see just like developers, you don't want to kind of just like work on various, unfamiliar, platform tools and technology, right? So actually just like we make it possible for all the, EVM smart contract developer very easily port their existing, project on top of Iotax, or they kind of create a native, smart contract, product on Iotax, just like seamless as, on the Ethereum or other, EVM blockchain. I think that's also important and also compatible with all the tools.
Okay, interesting. And does your project support staking and yield farming programs? If yes, how do they work, and what are the requirements for users if they want to stake and farm on your platform?
Yeah, I think there are two types of farming or yielding or staking you're talking about, right? So the first one is like a layer one POS staking, different like Iotax is a POS blockchain. So we do have our like a delegates, validators, staking program. So if you are interested to do this, come into staking.iotex.io. You just purchase a token and create a bucket. We have this very cool concept called bucket. So you can put your coins into the bucket, seal it, right? So with the number of days you want to stake here, maybe 31 days, maybe like even longer, maybe shorter, that's all up to you. Then you stake this one, stake the bucket on the protocol, which earns you like some passive incomes as a block producer, just producing blocks. So that's how it works. And in addition to this, we have some sort of campaign, something called airdrop, something called burn drop. Let me just explain airdrop a little bit. So that's basically how we engage our long-term stakeholders with the ecosystem new projects. Basically, it's like a little bit like the package Cyber pool. So all the new projects coming to Iotax, so they want to airdrop their tokens into the hands of long-term token holders, right? So they can go doing this by doing this airdrop program. So the long token holders, they just get new tokens, so they're happy. And the new ecosystem projects, they are getting like a new users, so they are happy too. So that's a win-win situation. In addition to this, so we start to see lots of like a yield farming DeFi style DApps kind of sprouting on Iotax, maybe starting from 1 or 2 months ago. There are maybe 10, 20-ish already are still growing, like the DeFi farms. Actually, on Iotax, it's very fun to play. I play some of them too. So yeah, just like if you're interested in DeFi farming, definitely you can go through the Tube, which is our bridge, kind of connecting Iotax with Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, and other blockchains. So you can bridge your assets to Iotax to join those DeFi farms. yeah, it's very fun stuff to play.
Very cool. And there's over $60 million in TVL, which is a
Yeah.
record-breaking moment for IoTeX and IoTube. So what is the formula to this success? And as the TVL is increasing, what strategies are in the pipeline to maintain this and surpass this record?
Yeah, definitely. We see there's an exponential kind of growth in the past 1-2 months. Right, so all those kind of just like TVL is a kind of just like showcase. Actually the assets are kind of just like flow in from the other ecosystem to Iotax, right? And it's just the beginning. We see there's a kind of more and more projects are coming, and then it bring up the TVL very quickly. I think just that there is no secret sauce. I think the most important thing is follow users' demand, right? Yeah. And for us, we focus on building more native applications, DApp, or very fun, innovative product on top of Iotax ecosystem, right? So we have a lot of the kind of launch pad, we have our grant, we have our ecosystem fund to support that part, right? So if we can attract more and more those innovative developers come here, and they can create something unique, right? Leverage on our technology, especially just like for the MachineFi, NFT, Metaverse, DeFi, those type of the project, right? And then it will definitely attract people from all the across the ecosystem come to us. I think that's a kind of the natural way, organic way to do the ecosystem growth.
Interesting. And we have a user that's asking, or a community member that's asking, how can I move a DApp to IoTeX from Ethereum?
Oh man, that's super easy. That's zero effort, literally. So we make the chain EVM compatible, Web3.js compatible, and you can use all sort of Ethereum tools like a Remix, Truffle, Hardhat, no matter what you have. Just deploy to Iotax. You have to configure this like the RPC endpoint. You have to configure this chain ID. That's it, right? Then you just click a button, contract deploy to Iotax. That should work. Also, same for the users, right? So you just configure this one under MetaMask. You switch from like a Ethereum to Iotax mainnet, and you just use MetaMask to interact with all sorts of DApps. There is exactly the same experience as you are using on Polygon, BSC, as well as Ethereum. So Iotax is fully ready for Ethereum style DApps.
Cool. So fully interoperable with all the other blockchains.
Yeah.
Very cool. How can somebody become a validator with Iotax? What are the requirements to become a validator, and what about the benefits as well of becoming a validator?
Sure. Yeah. So I think since 2019, when Iotax first launched our mainnet alpha, we already kind of make it very decentralized, which means that there's no permission for anyone to join our network and become a validator or delegate, right? And as long as they can meet a certain requirement. And actually the requirement, right now, the minimum requirement is if you have 1.2 million Iotax token and stake with our chain, right? So and get into our protocol, stake with our chain and register by yourself. Everything just that you can do it by yourself. Don't need any permission from us. And read the doc, right? And then you can be eligible to become, kind of just like, to kind of receive the votes from the community. And once you get kind of, minimum kind of 2 million, votes in total, and then you will be eligible as a validator.
Okay.
Right. And then just like there is also kind of ranking, right? Right now, just like, the ranking will be just like the top 36 will be join the consensus. So if you can get, into the top 36, then you kind of get into this consensus, and then you will have additional rewards, like we call it, consensus reward. But even just like you are not a consensus, you still be eligible as a validators, and support the security of the network, and also receive certain level of the rewards based on your votes.
Okay, cool. And so
right now, I think just like I think the APY will be varied, right? But actually, it will be around, I think, just like 15% to 20%. If you add in all those incentives.
Wow, amazing. And Jing and Roland, I know you both mentioned you've been in the tech ecosystem for a very long time. How long have you been involved in the crypto scene?
For me, it's really early. I got into Bitcoin in 2009, right? So that's where I was doing my PhD in cryptography. Bitcoin is something like a very naturally combines cryptography as well as economy, right? So that's just got my interest. Maybe the paper published the second day the paper published. I was also very early like a member in the Bitcoin Canada community because I was doing my PhD in Canada. And also I got into crypto. I just invest in tokens and projects maybe starting from 2010. So very early. Like my Ethereum is kind of just very 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 early. I got into Ethereum as well.
Yeah. 2009 is early, definitely for Bitcoin. And Jing, I assume probably a similar timeline for you as well.
Yeah, not as early as, Lauren, but definitely, I got exposed to Bitcoin also very early on. I think around 2013. At that time, I already just in Silicon Valley, a lot of people, I'm surrounded by all the founders and they are doing the mining of the Bitcoin. I'm not that technical, but I'm not literally just doing the mining. But I think what really made me very serious, into the blockchain crypto is back in 2015. And at that time, just I met with, early founders of the Definity. At that time, they are still doing not Definity yet. Actually, they are doing a kind of more like incubator launchpad type of the blockchain project. I may be the first in the launchpad for crypto, right? And then just they decided to move to Definity, and then we are one of the angel investor in their project. And then just because we invest in all those kind of security frontier tech, we see more and more security projects, they are adopting the blockchain technology and make us kind of feel actually just it's not only a crypto, right? So it can just have various of the possibilities and applications on top of that. And so that we decided to invest in all the fund. We are the early we are the early kind of investors in those prominent crypto fund like Polychain, like Pantera at very early stage. And then we start to invest in the project, even like Brave, the BAT Theta. And Theta at that time, they are not Theta, they are kind of Sliver.tv, which is a VR TV company, streaming company. Yeah. So we are kind of following those, trend until just 2016, 2017. I'm kind of investor turned entrepreneur in crypto and decided to all in because we see the future of the blockchain and not like any other technology we see before, which only can change a vertical, but a blockchain decentralized net technology which will change all the sectors in our society. So very excited in journey so far.
Very cool. So you both have been through multiple crypto cycles, not just one. So you've for sure experienced, the euphoric highs and also the communal despair and disillusionment that follows those euphoric bull markets. What are the things that you learned to help you build a better future for IOTeX, having gone through so many cycles?
So that's an interesting topic. Actually, I have been through, maybe this bear market, maybe 3 times. Yeah, I think 3 times. And Iotax, as a project founder, I have been through this like once, right? So that's like a 2018, 2019 bear market. I think a lot of projects starting the same time, around the same time with us already died out, but Iotax definitely like went it through. During the bear market, I'm so happy to see we have no one actually left the core team. So the core team still working very hard on a daily basis. So we deliver products, we deliver like the blockchain, and we keep growing. So that's what we do, right? That's what we are accumulating in the bear market period. Now, of course, it's a bull market, as everybody can tell. So I think that's where we see this very strong growth of the user of the TVL on the chain. Sometimes I feel like it's sort of an exercise for a project or maybe for a founder. Like you have to go through up and downs. So that's why you can have a very strong mental mind, right? To do the things, to be persistent on the things you love and you're passionate about.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think the very important part is, as a founders, from very beginning, you need to understand, up and down, that's very normal, especially just like in a brand new, technology and industry, right? Don't be distracted by the market in short term, but focus on the long-term foundation. Focus on building the fundamentals, building, the adoption, right? When all those, critical part, really can get through, and then just, really focus on the long-term vision, right? So if you can bring the long-term vision, to the reality, and it will inspire more and more people get into your ecosystem, work with you, and eventually the value will prove and be discovered by the market.
Cool. Yeah, very great advice.
Yeah. Also, in a bear market, like you will have more time to think, right? So in the bull market, everybody's so busy and too many meetings here and there every day. But in a bear market, you can really like think about how this industry will grow, how IoTeX will grow. So that's a very precious time also for us.
Well, that's a good point. It gives you time to think and build, I guess. So where is the IoTeX roadmap now, and are all the targets in accordance with the current roadmap?
Yeah, I think a very high level, right? Two things like we are focused on right now. One is ecosystem growth. So that's definitely like a big one. So we're inviting projects, developers, products coming to IoTeX to launch their thing, right? So that's one. So internally, we have this initiative called 100 projects by end of this year. So we still have 3 months left, and I think we are like a 30-40% done. Still, like we're struggling, hustling so hard to get it done. So that's one. And another one that's probably coming later this year and Q1 next year, that's like the machine 5, like the IoTeX 2.0 per se. So that will be like a very big thing. So that includes like the hardwares, open hardwares we are working with, the layer 2 components, and of course all like the D apps that's building on top of the open hardware and the layer 2 components. So this will be a very different type of different categories of D app that have never been seen on the market. So we're very excited for this one. Like the entire team as well as our community is like super looking forward to this one.
Oh, cool. That is very exciting. And the name IoTeX seems to only focus on IoT, but IoTeX brings the power of blockchain to secure devices, NFTs, dApps, and more. Will something be done to let the general public know that is not just for IoT, but it's actually much more than that?
Yeah, definitely. We actually working on that on different levels, right? Marketing and branding definitely one part. We kind of just like working with the external team, internal team to make our IoTeX branding, kind of just like more understandable by the general public. And definitely the product itself will sell, right? So basically, recently we see the growth. Actually the growth was driven by most of the DeFi, NFT, and metaverse projects. And our vision is actually to connect, the digital, it's a real world to the metaverse. So basically, there are two aspects. One is a physical world, the machines, devices, right? Another word is actually just that we bring them to the crypto world so that they can do all type of the financializations and applications on chain. And we see just like DeFi and NFTs, those are core components and common components for any blockchain, public chain, right? So, but the difference thing here is, if those NFT, they kind of just like combined with the machine, and if this DeFi combined with machine, will have very, very unique and interesting use cases which people have never been able to see in this industry.
Very cool. Really interesting. All right, you guys, we are going to jump over to Telegram to continue our conversation. Just to let the community know, first of all, thank you so much for joining us on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching right now. You guys can join the rest of the conversation in our main Telegram channel. Just hop in and we'll be there in just a minute. And Jing and Raullen, I'll see you guys in a sec. This video will be on YouTube after this conversation, and we'll continue the rest of it.